Former world boxing champion Ricky Hatton has died at the age of 46. Tributes continue to fly in. Let's get more now from our reporter, Craig Slater. You can join us on the phone. Craig, this is devastating news this afternoon. An incredible boxer and someone who will be well known by not just boxing fans, but sports fans as well. How will he be remembered?
He was a remarkable human being. I had the great privilege to know him as a friend. I first met him before he turned professional. He'd been ABA champion. He was 18 years of age. I mean, it's devastating news for all of us that knew him. My sincere condolences to Ray and Carol, to Campbell, to Matthew Hatton, to all the family. It's just so unexpected, all of this. But yeah, his was without question one of the great careers in British boxing, and I was lucky enough to follow that career pretty much from its beginning to its high-level conclusion. Some nights which were without compare, I have to say, in British boxing history, which took the sport to new heights and reached new audiences. And he was a one-off. And we could talk about the record, the wins and losses, and we can talk about the numbers of fans that followed him around the world. But at the end of the day, this was a son, a beloved son, brother, father, and friend to so many people who did so much good as well. And what was great about him, and I got to see him occasionally on a social basis as well, that he was so unassuming, modest, quiet. There was a shy side to him as well, and I in trying to deal with the news today and the difficulty he's had to adjust to life outside the ring, and despite the fact that he's been able to train fighters and promote fighters and do all of that, he wasn't someone who absolutely reveled in the spotlight. But what a special talent, and I there's a lot we can say about him, but I'm remembering now that first day I met him. I'd gone with Glenn McCrory with the Sky crew up to Billy Graham's gym in Manchester, and to be honest with you now, I can't remember who we were meant to be filming that day, but Billy wanted to introduce us the new fighter who'd come to join him, and the enthusiasm on Billy Graham's face that day as he talked about how he reminded him of the great Julio Cesar Chavez with the body punches he could throw. He knew this was maybe the most special talent as a trainer he would ever work with, and that relationship blossomed so magnificently and yeah, as I say, transcended everything in terms of the scale of the fights that Ricky was involved in and the quality of the fights he was involved in. Pretty much anything that had come before in British boxing, and we're talking about periods when Lennox Lewis was fighting. I mean, yes, Lennox had a magnificent career, and you might probably place him as maybe the greatest British boxer of all time in career terms, but in box office terms, in terms of capturing the public's imagination, Ricky Hatton did that so much more than I think anyone in the last half century in British boxing.
Yeah, he really was a towering figure, both in the ring with these mega fights that you mentioned, the likes of Pacquiao and Mayweather, and all those big fights that he had at Las Vegas. But it was his personality out of the ring as well, wasn't it, Craig, that made him such a fan favourite and such a popular figure, not just with boxing fans, but with sports fans?
Well, listen, he had that identification with Manchester City. Maybe he could have been a footballer himself. His dad, Ray, was on the books at Manchester City. He grew up above a pub, the New Inn in Hattersley. Lovely parents, Ray and Carol. Ray went on to run a carpet business. Very unassuming people, humble people that were in and around this very special talent. And you have to say, I have, before or since, I have seen nothing like the pilgrimages, and I think that's the only word we can use to describe them, of Ricky Hatton fans that travelled to Las Vegas, in particular for those two big fights against Mayweather and Pacquiao. And also, the greatest victory of his career, in most people's eyes, was the win that made him world champion and world #1 in the 10-stone division. And I think we have to remember that he boxed Pacquiao and Mayweather at 10 stone 7 welterweight. Ricky Hatton, I think, ultimately was a 10-stone fighter and the greatest in the world for the period in which he boxed. But I often say to people that if you want to imagine what it was like to be with in the army of a medieval warrior king, a Henry V or a Robert the Bruce or something like that, if you'd gone to a Ricky Hatton fight, you would have understood what that meant. Just the adulation and the identification his fan base had with him. I mean, I'm so devastated today to hear this news.
Craig, thank you for the moment. We'll continue to pay tribute to Ricky Hatton, the former world boxing champion who has died at the age of 46.